Hello everyone, hope you're having an excellent day today. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you all so much for your great response on part 1 of this series. I really appreciate all the positive comments. There were also some very thought-provoking comments that definitely required an answer. However, instead of writing an entire paragraph or two to explain what was going on, I thought I might as well cover it in the first part of this video. The first comment was about, what are you going to do about the minifigs? And that's actually a terrific question because in the TRON Legacy set, the only TRON Legacy set that came out, LEGO Ideas, it had 3 great figures, and they're fantastic, don't get me wrong, but there's only 3 of them. And this set is now $150 on Amazon as of recording this. It's a little bit cheaper on places like Bricklink or maybe eBay, but it's still kind of hard to find, and the figures are not really affordable or accessible either. $15, $20 is a good deal, and that's not good when you're trying to make like a city full of them. It just kind of adds up pretty quickly. So let's go on a little rabbit trail and a little tangent to talk about the minifigures that will populate the TRON Legacy cityscape. Okay, so the first batch of minifigures that I want to share with you guys is the original TRON Legacy minifigures, the good guys, Sam and Cora, their torsos and legs being used for different figures. Here you can actually see there's the 2 original unaltered figures here. And we've got a couple other customizations going on as far as faces, headgear, even some shoulder, neck and body wear here. And I think they look great. This is about all I have, I think. I don't think I have any more that I could build. I'm pretty happy with being able to collect this many, though. This is not bad. You'll see a few pieces that stand out, though. That's a different piece that we'll talk about in just a second. A little bit of leg and torso swapping happening. But yeah, these all look great. Obviously, these figure torso and legs were designed to look like TRON, so they look perfect. But let's move on to the next batch of figures. You'll see some alterations happening there. This second batch of figures is a little smaller than the first, but it all features pieces mostly derived from the Series 16 Cyborg figure, which this is where this torso armor is from and these legs, and some of these printed arm pieces you'll see on the left side of some of these characters here too, right there. And right there is a good shot. You can see that kind of metallic glint there. But yeah, this figure is really good. A lot of the pieces work quite well for TRON. It's got a lot of high-tech looking elements, printing going on. There are bits of lime and other colors like silver coming through a little bit, but mixed with some azure or black pieces instead of the other pieces that would have been used in the figure, I think it makes total sense in a TRON setting. So a little bit maybe like beefed up and armored for a civilian, but maybe some of these people work out. You never know. These programs are pretty tough maybe. And yeah, I think these work pretty well. I have a couple of those figures I was able to incorporate. Some of the legs you'll see swapped out again. Let's move on to the next batch and talk about where these legs come from. This next batch of minifigures is one of the biggest batches so far, and it features primarily the torso and legs from the laser mech from Series 15, just before the Cyborg came out in Series 16. But again, great color scheme for TRON. It has a light blue and a little bit of silver lining going all through the torso and leg area. Looks very TRON-esque, a little bit sharp and armored maybe, but again, maybe these are some buff civilians, you never know. We're trying to have it so that pretty much each figure has a disc, because that's very important to the lore of TRON. They all have their identity disc. I don't have one for everyone, but many of the figures do have them, and I'll be getting more neck brackets to attach them all. I had plenty of the discs, but not all the brackets for some reason. For the figures in TRON, I'm going for various flesh tones, trying to be fairly diverse with each character that I make. I think this makes a lot more sense than yellow. The movie features a bunch of different, a wide variety of cast and characters to kind of go off of. So you'll see as much variety as possible, even some Nexo Knights sneaking in. That's kind of a blue sci-fi face happening there. All right, this last batch of figures is pretty much filler minifigures happening here. You've got a variety of different themes represented. You've got some Ultra Agents and Alpha Team torsos and legs happening here. There's some more Ultra Agents over here. These legs are from Explorians, I believe. Some Black TRON 1 happening as well. And some of the original TRON legs as well. You've also got, throughout the figures, you'll have a couple Kryptonian legs. That little silver lining on the edge is just enough detail versus a plain pair of black legs. You've also got straight up a CMF Galactic Bounty Hunter in the background as well. These guys are supposed to be kind of filler, not in some of the more prominent scenes. They'll be in like a crowd or a line of figures. These will be kind of towards the back, but I think they all will still blend in and make sense within the scene. This should be a pretty large scene. You're not going to hopefully zero in too much on some of the background characters happening. Whoa, it's the bad guys. I'm pretty happy with the amount that I've been able to construct from various pieces, given that the original Tron Legacy set only had one bad guy character in there, the Rinsler. And he is represented here in the middle. There's also basically another Rinsler over here on the right. But there's a couple other options happening here. You have the Rinsler torso and legs, and I think one or two other figures that I had a few extra pieces from. But I was also able to use the Iron Skull torso and legs very effectively. It's not quite as detailed as the original Tron one, but it has a similar color palette with those little dark gray lines going through it and some red. I know red isn't the screen accurate color for the bad guys, but it's close enough in the color family that I think it works. It would be almost like using dark blue on some of the other civilian figures, and I think it would still make sense. I'm also able to use some kind of more wacky pieces in here. You have some fairly standard torso shoulder armor here, but you've also got like Lord Business, and I think that's from Darth Malgus over there. Stuff that I've collected over the years that I think makes sense within this context. But yeah, excited about the bad guys. I won't need nearly as many of these for the city, I think, because there's going to be a couple bad guy vehicles. Some of those will have visible pilots, some of those won't. Like the Recognizer probably won't really, maybe one person in the window. The tank, you won't be able to see anybody from the outside. A couple of the bikes will definitely have, I want to make like 2 or 3 of the light cycles with bad guys on top. But yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4 of those max, and then maybe 1 or 2 walking around or in prominent positions, and I think we'll be good. The rest of the scene can be filled with kind of the everyday civilians in blue. So I think that'll make total sense within the context of the creation. But pretty happy with all these so far. I'm particularly happy I was able to find the Iron Skull torso and leg combo to work. It works just enough, I think. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can get to the second comment I wanted to touch on briefly before covering some of the physical progress that's been made. Someone caught a glimpse of some of the transparent elements in the B-roll of the first video. I think that's worth covering in this next section. All right, so we're going to be using a number of transparent elements in the Tron build. The first of which is these 8x8 plates. These come from Winter Village sets. I think they also come in some Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze sets. A couple of different places. They're not cheap. They're like $10 kind of on average on Bricklink. Got a number of them from the Lego store that I work at Atlanta Brick Co. I'll be using these, not too surprising. Got one in the more regular color, the trans light blue color. I'm guessing this is from a rarer set, or not sure, but got one of these I'll be using somewhere. Got a number of these darker transparent blue plates. These are from the old Aqua Zone sets from the 90s, I believe. But all of these are things that came in Lego sets. The pieces in question for the comment that we got were, where did you get these? Because these 2x6 plates, transparent light blue, were not in any sets. As far as I know, I got them from an individual who used to work at the Legoland Discovery Center in Atlanta. And they were apparently used for a lightsaber building class. And they were kind of attached together to make a blue lightsaber. And they ordered these pieces specifically for that project. They didn't need them afterwards, and they traded some to the store. I got about a sandwich bag of them here that you can see. And these are fantastic pieces. They're really good. I wish Lego would make more plates in different sizes in real sets so we could get them more commonly available. Because these are rare, kind of Legoland production Q parts, you can do a little more research and figure out. Because these weren't any sets, they're expensive. We have some at Atlanta Brick Co. They're like $30, $40 a piece, and pretty pricey. Thankfully, I was able to get some at a little bit lower rate having worked at the store. So these are going to be super useful in different aspects of the build. I will be kind of trying to use them sparingly because this is all I have, and I don't think I'll be seeing any more anytime soon. So that's the case for these guys. You can go buy them yourself if you want one out of curiosity. I'll put a link in the description for you guys. So, all right, we're back, and now I can finally talk about what actually has been built besides just the figs or talking about transparent parts I'm going to use in the MOC. Thankfully, I did have a little bit of black brick to work with, not a ton because Rock Raiders is still sitting right there behind the camera as of filming this. I was able to complete a couple sections of the terrain, the landscape, and a couple modules that are now complete and they fit together. Let me show you guys what they look like. If you're kind of picturing it from my initial picture of base plates, we're actually going from right to left, kind of backwards of reading direction. And I've also kind of added or removed some of the smaller base plates on the kind of indentation parts because I'm also planning on doing some roads and I want those roads to end on a flat section of the build. I don't want them to end on an irregular area, like if part of the road's here and part of the road trails off, then it wouldn't look as good in that transition period. So instead of having parts of road appear and parts of kind of cut up a little bit, have that smooth edge instead. So you can see I've cropped the first section a little bit in order to have a smooth area for the road to go out on. The connection point for the different chunks to fit together is held together with a larger axle, a modified axle. And this not only provides a great smooth and strong fit, but it also doesn't fall out like some of the other axle connected MOCs I've done before. In previous times I just used a 4-long axle, and that works pretty well, but if you remove it, you can lose it. And then you end up having a section or two that doesn't have an axle and doesn't fit together. These are embedded in one side and only go in the other side, so it's like the plug on a cord going into an outlet. It makes total sense, it fits well. Kind of reminds me of IKEA. That'll hopefully kind of attach this build together and keep it strongly secured on the table and not slide around too much. The physical build itself has 2 layers of plates on the bottom above those base plates. On the edges of that, it's all black, so any areas that are visible are gonna have that black smooth surface that won't distract from the lights happening. Got 2 layers of black bricks around the outside edge too. On the inside, I'm using light gray because I have a lot more light gray on hand right now than I do black. And just trying to spread that color as thinly as possible, yet still not visibly showing any gray on the surface. The landscape may end up being deeper if I need to compensate for the amount of lights and wires that are going to go underneath this thing. But for now, I think that'll cover most of it. I still haven't decided which lights are going to light up the edges of the roadway or parts of the path on the ground. But I might use fairy lights, I might use those kind of LED light strips, those flexible ones. It depends on what is affordable, flexible, and accessible. I like to buy my lights off of Amazon. It only takes a couple days to ship. Probably gonna need some more extension cords to go out the back. I'll probably have to modify this section right here a little bit as well. So a number of things I still have to do, but I'm just kind of getting the frame made that I can then fill in and change as needed. But yeah, got this first small section done. This full-size section done. Fits together oh so nice. Another full-size section mostly done. And that fits together great too. And part of another section done. Audio is probably terrible, sorry about that. Another section done right here, or mostly done. Just like that. And we've got a 5-foot table completely covered already. This surface is far from finished. It needs to be illuminated. We need to plan out the rest of the roads. I was thinking of doing the roads as snot bricks at first. However, I think I'm gonna need those bricks in order to build up some buildings, and I'm gonna need them in more vertical structures, not horizontal ones. So I might end up resorting to tiles. I don't know if I have enough tiles. I do have a pretty sizable bin over there. I kind of have to do the math and measure it out and figure out if I have enough tiles to finish all these roads, or if I'll have to order more. A couple crossroads coming up that I'll have to make decisions on coming up after Atlanta BrickCon. This is probably the last update you'll see for just a little while because I'm gonna be going to Atlanta BrickCon, be busy for at least a weekend, maybe a little bit more before and after. But immediately thereafter, I will be disassembling Rock Raiders as quickly as possible and using a lot of those black bricks to complete TRON. So you should see a pause, and then you should see a massive acceleration, probably at least a video per week, if I'm able to keep pace like I want to. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.